Hello everyone, I'm Mohammed Zakria. I'll be explaining you ICP3 tasks. So in this task we had to basically create classes, employee class, and then we had to create their part-time classes which should inherit basically the parent class properties. So basically let me just go through quickly with this code. I've created this class employee, and then these are basically its attributes. So isEmployed is basically a boolean function, so true and false. Then under this class I have this pay. So whenever this pay is called, basically I need to pay out and increase their balance. So this is what I'm doing here. And then this is a reporting function. Just I was searching on Google, so this helped me in some linked list output. Okay, so part-time employee, if this is basically inheriting the properties, so I do not have to call these again attributes. That's why employee.init would do, and the self.type is p. So for giving raise, we know we have like two properties. So if the employee is part-time, the raise should be 5% of the salary. So that's why you see a 5% increment, and if it is a full-time employee, the raise should be 10%. And likewise for full-time employee, since it's inheriting the properties of its parent class, so I do not need to initialize these variables. Okay, so actually the main code starts from here, right? So I'm reading the file in readable mode. Once I have read the file, I'm splitting them into basically lines. So for all those lines, it's iterating, and it's iterating the coolest, right? So what it is doing is it's reading the code line by line, right? So when this is 1 for range length of coolest, so our input has basically 19 rows, so this loop is running for 19 times. If I can show you the input file, it looks like this. So what I need to do is basically 18, right? So what I need to do is basically read the first word of each line. That's what my aim is. So this word should basically be identifying the action. Like I need to raise, pay, fire, or whatever the action is. So yep. So employee action, we're basically entering the variable taking as coolest. So initially I have defined to split the coolest by spaces. So if the 0 index basically is new, just like I've mentioned in the input, what I need to do is basically, so if the employee is new, I've created an object and saved all its attributes. Else if the employee is not new, I've created a full-time object. So in new employees there are two types basically. So one is I'm reading its last index. -1 means last index. So if it is a full-time employee, I need to save it like this, and if it is a part-time employee, I need to save it like this. And likewise, whatever the employee is, I'm just appending my list, right? So this basically employee list is like a linked list, so it's saving all those values, right? So whatever, if it is new, old, or whatever the employee is, I'm just saving and making it a list, so I can retrieve this list later on. I'll just show you where I've retrieved it. Else if it is a raise, you need to raise that particular employee ID. Just read the employee ID and then save it. Okay, so raise action, just we have seen it above. And if it is pay, I'm just paying. If it is fire, I just need to fire the employee ID, right? So all these are defined here. So if it is fire, I need to see which employee ID has been fired. So wherever those matches, I'm just changing its boolean value to false. And if I have to pay, so this is basically iterating over the complete list. So I just need to check if it is employed, I need to pay. So if it is not employed, I don't need to pay him, right? So over the complete list or all the employees, so this is this employee, now the use of this employee list comes here. So if I've created this, so I have like all the 6 employees in this list, so I'll be iterating them and then paying them, right? So the next section is basically raise action. So this is if I have to raise the salary or give increment. Okay, so I need to basically check which ID needs to be raised, and depending upon the ID, I need to check if they are part-time or full-time. So just like this, giving raise would take me back to all the way up where I've defined giving raise here. So it would just check if it is a part-time and full-time employee, and then it will give raise, right? This is a file writing procedure. Append mode, I'm opening the file in append mode, and I'm checking, this is iteration, right? So for each index, I'm checking if they are employed, then what you need to return. These are some string objects that I need to return: their current salary, earned to date, and I've saved this, and then likewise I have if the object if the employee is not employed, right? So if it is false, that means their current salary should be 0, or they shouldn't be getting employed. Matlab, they need to be, the output should be saying it's not employed. Okay, so additional right is just for I didn't want this to be very complex, so I actually made it another in which I'm just writing the total number of employees, string employees, so it will just return how many number of employees are there and their average salaries for part-time and full-time. So this is basically summing up just a counter and counts the total number of employees and obviously their salary, and then at the end divides these variables with each other. So all the way down there I'm just reading the input and file write, and obviously I need to additional write. So if I run this, what do I get? Hello world, and I need to change this to task 1. Okay, so output has been generated and my output looks like this. So I've run this quite multiple times, so I'll just ignore all of this and look at the last. So it says I have like 6 employees. Out of these are 4 are part-time and 2 are full-time, right? And which employee is not employed with us anymore since we have fired this employee, right? So it says not employed, and it will take its earned to date. So whenever I give raise, I have seen this was a full-time employee, that's why his salary has been raised. Okay, so and obviously how many times I have basically given the pay function, it's actually incrementing these values. So average and these 2 functions have been called. So this is the output. This is working perfectly fine. Now let's go to task 2. Task 2 was very simple. I just need to import through a URL. It's basically calling method calling, imported these 2 libraries, and then created the object class of web scraper, and then this 2 has title to just get the title, and this is basically to get the links. I'm calling a method. This is easy method .soup.title.string. So what it does is basically returns the title of this Wikipedia page, and this will give me I need to iterate this over the list so I can get all those URLs there available, and then I'm just calling these. So if I run this, calling these objects, ouch, need to change it to task 2. Let me rerun this. Hello world, machine learning Wikipedia, that's the title. the printing links. So all these links have come from this page, right? So that was the task. Hope you have understood. If you have any doubts, please do let me know. Thank you so much.